The grand hall of the Intergalactic Academy buzzed with chatter, an intricate chorus of alien voices from 100 worlds. Some spoke in clicks and whistles, others in melodic hums or guttural growls. But all eyes were fixed on the massive hollow screen suspended above the central dais. Today was the day every student awaited, the official announcement of the Advanced Combat Simulation Tournament, a grueling test of skill, strategy, and nerve that had shaped interstellar legends for centuries. The murmurs swelled into eager anticipation as the screen flickered to life, showing the face of Academy Chancellor Velkreth, a tall, stern figure of the reptilian Dreth species, his scaled hands resting on the lectern. His deep, rasping voice echoed through the chamber. "Students and honored guests," he began, "the tournament will commence in 3 standard days. However, this cycle comes with a new regulation. After careful deliberation, the Academy Council has unanimously voted to exclude human participants from the tournament." The hall went silent. Then chaos. Voices erupted in confusion and disbelief. From the front rows, a cluster of tall, silver-skinned Alari laughed aloud, their elongated eyes sparkling with scorn. "Humans? Banned? As if they could pose any threat," sneered Kale, a cocky Alari cadet, loud enough for nearby humans to hear. "They're reckless amateurs relying on luck and stubbornness, not skill." Near him, a 4-eyed Yilzar student clicked her mandibles in agreement. "Good riddance. Their primitive tactics would only ruin the prestige of this tournament." Across the room, human students exchanged tense looks. They had expected resistance. After all, humans were newcomers to the academy and often underestimated, but a formal ban was something else entirely. Their leader, Mara, stood rigid, jaw clenched. She was no stranger to prejudice. On Earth, they had fought wars where the odds were always stacked against them. But here? This was supposed to be a new arena, a place where merit could speak louder than species or history. Velkreth continued, his voice carrying an undercurrent of warning. "The decision is not made lightly. Humanity's unpredictable and often unorthodox combat style has caused disturbances in past exhibitions. We cannot allow this chaos to endanger the integrity of the tournament." A ripple of agreement spread among the aliens, but it was tinged with nervousness. The word chaos was a loaded accusation, and it struck a nerve with some students who had seen firsthand what humans were capable of. Mara stepped forward, her voice cutting through the din. "You say humans bring chaos, but chaos can be strength. We adapt. We survive. That's why you fear us." Her words were met with a mixture of derision and uneasy silence. Velkreth's gaze fixed on her, cold and calculating. "Your sentiment is noted, Captain Mara. But the Council's decision is final. No human shall compete." A younger human, Jax, whispered fiercely beside Mara. "They don't understand us. They never will." Outside the hall, the city of Celestis shimmered beneath a violet sky. The Academy perched atop a floating platform that orbited the gleaming metropolis below. The band spread rapidly through the interstellar news networks, igniting debates across planets and species. Some argued the decision was a protective measure. Others saw it as an act of xenophobia. Back in the dormitories, the human team gathered around a battered holographic map table. Mara's eyes burned with determination. "We're not just going to sit back and accept this," she said firmly. "They think this is about order and discipline. It's about fear. Fear of what we can do when pushed." Lena, the team's tech specialist, tapped a finger on the map. "They don't see how far we've come. Our tactics, our instincts, they think it's just reckless luck." Mara nodded. "Then we'll prove them wrong. We train harder, we plan smarter, and we find a way in." A murmur of agreement rippled through the team. The ban had united them, forged a new fire in their hearts. Meanwhile, in the shadows of the Academy's underbelly, whispers began to spread. Some alien students, curious, frustrated, even a little afraid, wondered if the humans' chaotic reputation hid an untapped power the Council refused to face. The ban, intended to silence them, was only the spark that would ignite something far greater. Far below the gleaming towers of Celestis, deep within a forgotten sector of the city's lower levels, the human team's training ground hummed with quiet energy. The chamber was cramped and cluttered, a far cry from the pristine arenas where alien teams polished their armor and polished their reputations. Here, rusted Earth relics and salvaged tech littered the room. Old gravity boots, makeshift energy, shields, battered hollow emitters flickering with worn-out codes. Captain Mara paced in front of her team, her sharp eyes scanning each member. Around her, 6 humans, fighters, strategists, and engineers, prepared for another grueling drill. There was Jax, the quick-witted scout with reflexes that defied logic. Lena, a tech prodigy who could hack into nearly any system. Dax, the muscle, whose strength belied his quiet demeanor. And a handful of others who carried scars both physical and emotional from countless battles back on Earth. "We don't have the luxury of sleek tech or centuries of formal training," Mara said, voice low but fierce. "What we have is grit, instinct, and a refusal to quit. That's how we win." Lena tapped a handheld device, activating a series of holographic targets that flickered to life around the room. "Simulations don't have to be pretty," she said. "They just have to work." The team burst into motion. Jax darted through the maze of hollow projections, dodging invisible blasts with a dancer's grace. Dax slammed a heavy shield into the wall, testing its limits. Mara watched, noting every falter and every burst of brilliance. Their style was unconventional, more improvisation than textbook combat, more risk than routine. Outside, a crackling comm channel broke the rhythm. "Captain, you have a message from command," Lena said, raising an eyebrow. Mara grabbed the comm link, her expression hardening. The voice that came through was clipped and official. "General Hendricks, their liaison to the Academy's council." "The ban is real, Mara," he said gravely. "No exemptions. You're on your own." Mara swallowed her frustration. "Understood." The line went dead. "On our own," she repeated. "Then it's up to us. No one else is going to save us." The humans had come to the Academy on hope and defiance. Earth was a forgotten backwater in galactic terms, a planet scarred by war and neglect. Their technology was decades behind most species, their culture still raw and unrefined compared to centuries-old interstellar civilizations. But that roughness had made them survivors. Humans had learned to think fast, improvise smarter, and push harder when the odds were stacked against them. "Remember," Mara said, rallying her team, "they don't understand us. They think we're reckless, uncoordinated. But chaos is just another form of control. We turn their precision into confusion, their arrogance into weakness." Jax grinned, a flicker of the old Earth cockiness shining through. "Time to show them how the underdogs fight." For hours, the team trained in relentless cycles, grappling with worn-out mech suits, hacking simulation grids, and running obstacle courses designed to test more than strength. Mara emphasized mental toughness, anticipating enemy moves, reading opponents' intentions, and exploiting the environment. At one point, Mara pushed the team through a brutal exercise where they had to improvise weapons from nothing but scraps, turning scrap metal into throwing knives, broken servos into makeshift traps. "This is what they don't see," Mara said. "We don't need fancy gear to be dangerous. We make every advantage from what's around us. That's human ingenuity." Later, as exhaustion settled in, Lena pulled Mara aside near a flickering hollow projector displaying the upcoming tournament arena. "They're expecting discipline and order," Lena said softly. "We'll bring chaos and unpredictability. The best thing we have is surprise." Mara nodded, staring at the swirling holographic battlefield. The arena was a labyrinth of shifting platforms, deadly hazards, and environmental traps designed to challenge even the most experienced fighters. "They don't know what's coming," Mara said quietly, "and we're going to remind them why humans never stay down." As night fell over Celestis, the city lights casting long shadows through the dusty training room, the human team gathered in a circle. No flashy speeches, no empty promises, just a shared understanding burning brighter than any star. Jack spoke last. They banned us because they fear us, but fear can't stop us. It only sharpens the claws. Mara smiled, fierce and unyielding. Then let's make sure they remember the sound of those claws. Outside, unseen by the students training below, alien observers watched from the shadows, curious eyes filled with doubt, respect, and something unspoken. The human spirit was stirring, and the galaxy's smug confidence was about to face its toughest challenge yet. The morning of the tournament dawned bright and clear over Celestis, the floating platform gleaming under the violet sun. Crowds of students from across the galaxy packed the grand arena, majestic and intimidating, designed to test every skill a warrior could muster. Alien teams strutted confidently, their armor polished, their weapons humming with power. Spectators buzzed with excitement, ready to witness the clash of legends. Except for one thing, the humans were nowhere to be seen. Whispers spread like wildfire. Where were the humans? Had they accepted the ban? Or had they simply bowed out? Kyle, the cocky Alari cadet, scoffed from his seat near the front row. No surprise. They lack discipline. They're cowards at heart. Nearby, a Yilzar student clicked his mandibles. Their absence confirms it. Humans are not worthy competitors. The Arena AI, a towering sentient construct known as Omnicore, announced the tournament's commencement. Matches were called, one by one, the alien team showcasing dazzling displays of technique and technology. But as the second round drew near, a sudden alarm blared through the arena, a piercing, unfamiliar frequency that sent a ripple of unease through the crowd. Suddenly, a series of service hatches along the arena's underbelly hissed open. Out of the dim corridors emerged the human team. Mara led the group, her expression calm but fierce, as they strode confidently into the arena's heart. Their entry was unauthorized. No, one had cleared them for participation, and the council's ban still hung in the air like a dark cloud. Gasps and shouts filled the grand hall. Kale's smirk faded. How? They're breaking the rules. Velkreth's voice echoed through the speakers, cold and authoritative. Human participants, you are ordered to cease this intrusion immediately. You are in violation of Academy regulations. Mara raised a hand, addressing the entire assembly. We didn't come to break rules lightly. We came because we belong here. You think we're reckless and unworthy? We'll prove you wrong. The council representatives conferred in hurried whispers, their faces grim. Omnicore, programmed for impartiality and fairness, scanned the humans, calculating probabilities and risks. After a tense moment, it issued a surprising decree. The humans shall be permitted to participate. The tournament will continue with all registered teams. The announcement sent a wave of shock through the crowd. Kale gritted his teeth. This will be their undoing. The humans didn't waste a second. They assembled at their assigned starting zone, battered Earth gear contrasting sharply with the sleek alien tech surrounding them. Yet the fire in their eyes was unmistakable, The next match began. The humans faced off against the dominant Varax, a hulking species known for their brute strength and advanced armor. The Varax charged with terrifying speed and force, expecting an easy victory. But the humans didn't panic. Jax darted forward, using speed and agility to evade crushing blows. Lena hacked into the arena's environmental controls, activating traps and hazards to turn the terrain into an ally. Mara coordinated their movements with sharp commands and split-second decisions. The Varax, unprepared for such chaotic tactics, stumbled into snares and ambushes. Alien spectators leaned forward, their confident expressions faltering. The humans fought not with brute force, but with a fluid, unpredictable style that kept their opponents off balance. Kyle, watching in disbelief, muttered, "They're improvising, like nothing I've ever seen." The match ended with the humans victorious. The crowd erupted in stunned applause and murmurs of doubt. The smug superiority many had felt began to crack. Backstage, alien teams whispered nervously. "How do we counter unpredictability?" one asked. "Their style is not in any combat manual." Mara gathered her team quickly. "We've shown them what humans are capable of," she said, "but this is just the beginning. They expect us to fail because we're reckless. Let's prove them wrong, again and again." That night, the human team returned to their Siu hidden training ground, exhausted but exhilarated. They had broken the ban, not just by entering but by winning. Outside, unknown to them, shadowy alien observers took note. Some frowned, unsettled by the humans' resilience. Others nodded quietly, intrigued by this new force reshaping the Academy's expectations. For the first time, the galaxy was forced to reconsider what it meant to be a warrior, and whether humans were chaos incarnate or a new kind of order entirely. The arena was alive with electric tension. The air shimmered with holographic projections, energy shields, and the sharp tang of ionized metal. Alien spectators leaned forward, anticipation humming like a living thing. The humans' unexpected victory over the Vraks had sent ripples through the Academy, shifting whispered doubts into outright curiosity, and for some, growing fear. The next match was scheduled almost immediately. The humans faced a new challenge: the Zarkon, a species renowned for their precision tactics and cold, calculated combat style. Their armor gleamed like liquid silver, their movements measured and graceful, every strike carefully timed. Kael, still bitter from the last defeat, watched with a narrowed gaze. "They'll cut those humans down like lambs." Mara's team stood ready, battered but unbowed. The humans had no illusions about the Zarkon's skill. Their best hope lay not in matching their enemy's precision, but in unsettling it, The arena gate slid open. The Zarkon team glided forward, eyes sharp, weapons humming with lethal intent. The countdown began. 3, 2, 1. The match erupted. The Zarkon opened with surgical strikes targeting Mara's team with pinpoint accuracy. Their blows were designed to disable, not destroy, showcasing years of refined technique. The humans were pushed back, forced to retreat, behind makeshift cover. But Mara held firm, issuing crisp commands. "Disrupt their rhythm. Break their formation." Jax nodded, weaving through the battlefield like a living shadow. He tossed a small device, Lena's latest invention, into the enemy's path. It exploded in a burst of holographic decoys, confusing the Zarkon's sensors. "Now!" Mara shouted. The humans surged forward, less as a regimented force and more like a storm of unpredictability. Their attacks were erratic, unpredictable, sometimes feinting, sometimes retreating only to circle back from an unexpected angle. The Zarkon faltered. Their precision became a liability as they struggled to anticipate the humans' chaotic tactics. One by one, their strikes missed their marks, their formations breaking apart. Kael's confident smirk twisted into a grimace. He whispered to a nearby student, "They're turning our discipline against us." The crowd murmured, watching the humans' unconventional style wreak havoc. Their fighting was a symphony of chaos, each move seemingly reckless but tied together by an unspoken trust and fluid coordination. Mara caught the eye of the Zarkon captain, a pale-skinned warrior named Sira, whose icy composure was now tinged with frustration. "We don't fight like you," Mara said through her comlink. "We fight for each other." Jax leapt high, disarming Sira's weapon with a daring grab and a twist. The arena erupted with cheers and stunned gasps. The humans pressed their advantage, exploiting every moment of hesitation. Lena hacked into the arena's environmental controls again, shifting gravity fields to unbalance their opponents, causing disorientation. Sira stumbled but recovered quickly, rallying her team for a counterattack. The match reached a fever pitch, fast, brutal, and unpredictable. Then, in a final coordinated move, the humans executed a daring pincer maneuver, forcing the Zarkon into a trap of Lena's making. The arena's floor panel shifted, revealing spikes that temporarily incapacitated two Zarkon warriors. With their formation shattered, the Zarkon conceded defeat. The crowd erupted in thunderous applause. The humans had done what few thought possible. They had dismantled the galaxy's most precise fighters using raw instinct and innovative tactics. Kael sat back, face pale with disbelief. "I underestimated them completely." Velkreth's voice crackled over the arena speakers. This is unprecedented. The human style challenges everything we have known. Backstage, alien teams paced nervously. The old textbooks and doctrine suddenly felt obsolete in the face of the humans' unpredictable might. Mara gathered her team quickly, voice low but fierce. We showed them that chaos isn't weakness, it's strength. They don't understand us yet. But they will. Jax grinned, wiping sweat from his brow. They never expected this, that's our edge. As the arena emptied, the alien students whispered among themselves, some in awe, others in denial. The humans' victories weren't just about winning matches. They were rewriting the rules of combat itself. Above the crowd, hidden cameras captured every moment. Unknown to the participants, a larger story was beginning to unfold, one that would challenge not just the tournament, but the very fabric of interstellar respect and rivalry. The aftermath of the Zarkon match rippled through the halls of the Intergalactic Academy like a shockwave. Alien students who had once jeered at the humans now found themselves glancing sideways, exchanging uncertain looks. The story of the humans' unconventional victory spread rapidly, morphing from rumor into undeniable fact. In the vast luminous corridors of the academy, groups of students gathered in hushed clusters. The Alari, known for their pride and long histories of victory, were among the first to feel the sting of doubt. Kale paced nervously, unable to shake the memory of the humans' fluid, chaotic fighting style. They shouldn't be able to win, like that, he muttered. Our techniques are perfect, honed over centuries. How do they defy all that? Across the hall, a younger Alari cadet shrugged uneasily. Maybe we've been too rigid. They adapt in ways we don't understand. The Yilzar, whose sharp minds prided themselves on strategy, debated more openly. It's not just brute force or speed, said Yilzar tactician Rilvek. Their improvisation, turning random elements into weapons, is almost a form of higher strategy. We can't predict what they'll do next. In a quiet corner, a small group of alien students approached the Academy's vast archives. The dusty tomes and hollow recordings contained centuries of combat history, yet none chronicled anything, quite like the human method. Among them was Sira, the Zarkon captain defeated in the last match. Her icy composure had been rattled, replaced with a newfound curiosity. We must learn more about them, Sira said quietly, not to mock but to understand. Back in their hidden training room, the human team felt the shift too. They had expected resistance, even hostility, but now the atmosphere was charged with a mixture of fear and fascination. Lena scanned encrypted data streams from the Academy network. I'm picking up alien chatter. Some are questioning the Council's ban. They're scared of what we might bring. Mara nodded. Good. Let them fear us. We're changing the game. But the humans stayed silent about their deeper tactics, guarding their strategies like a precious secret. The unity and trust they shared were their true weapon. Meanwhile, Velkreth convened a private meeting of senior council members. The reptilian chancellor's scaled face was stern. His eyes narrowed. We underestimated humanity's resilience and unpredictability, he admitted. Their victories are not mere luck. They reflect a unique approach to warfare. This challenges the very foundation of our traditions. One council elder, an ancient Vrax warrior, growled. Allowing them to compete was a mistake. They disrupt order. Velkreth shook his head. The council's authority is at stake. If we suppress them now, we risk igniting rebellion and fracturing the Academy's unity. The debate raged into the night, but no decision was reached. Meanwhile, alien students on the Academy grounds began seeking out the humans, not with weapons, but with questions. One evening, as Mara and her team rested, a tall, slender Ilari named Talon approached cautiously, his usual arrogance tempered by genuine interest. I want to learn from you, he said simply. Your style, your spirit. Teach me. Mara studied him for a long moment before nodding. Then you listen. First, humanity fights with heart, with chaos, but above all with loyalty. Word spread that alien students were quietly asking for sparring sessions with the humans, hoping to glean insight into their tactics. The old barriers of pride and prejudice began to crack. Yet, not all were pleased. Among the alien factions, whispers of sabotage and conspiracy circulated. Some saw the humans as a threat to their centuries-old dominance, and tensions simmered beneath the surface. Late one night, Lena discovered irregularities in the Academy's system. Someone had tried to tamper with the humans' training data and supplies. "They're trying to cripple us," Lena said grimly. Mara clenched her fists. "They fear what we represent, but we won't be broken." As the tournament continued, the humans became more than competitors. They were symbols of change, unsettling a galaxy that had long taken its supremacy for granted. The question lingering. In every whispered conversation, every furtive glance was simple. What are humans truly capable of? And the answer for many was still unknown. The days that followed the Zarkon match brought more than admiration and whispered curiosity. They ushered in a storm brewing beneath the Academy's polished surface, one of fear, suspicion, and hostility. The humans had become the unexpected disruptors, challenging traditions and shaking the very foundations of interstellar hierarchy. Mara's team worked harder than ever, sharpening their skills and deepening their bond. But the hostility they faced was no longer subtle. Graffiti appeared in the training chambers, alien symbols of disdain scrawled across their equipment. Supplies vanished or were sabotaged. Even during sparring sessions, some alien opponents fought with a cruel edge, seeking to hurt rather than compete. "You feel it too, right?" Jax asked one evening as they patched up a torn mech suit. Mara nodded, scanning the dimly lit room. "They want us gone. Not just banned, but broken." Lena, hunched over her console, frowned. "Sabotage attempts are escalating. Someone's hacking comm channels, spreading misinformation about us." "Perfect," Mara said grimly. "Divide and conquer. We can't let them win that way." Despite the rising tension, the humans prepared for their next challenge. A team from the prestigious Zalthar, a species known for their merciless efficiency and ruthless tactics. Their combat style was cold, methodical, and utterly relentless. The day of the match arrived. The arena thrummed with energy. Alien spectators whispered excitedly, some eager to see the humans falter, others hoping to witness their continued rise. Kale sat near the front again, his smirk replaced with a hard edge. "This ends today," he muttered. The arena gates opened. Mara's team entered, faces set with determination. Across the field, the Zalthar warriors waited, their eyes cold and unyielding. The countdown began. The match exploded into motion. The Zalthar attacked with surgical precision, cutting off escape routes and isolating Mara's team. Their strategy was clear: overwhelm and eliminate without mercy. But the humans did not panic. Mara barked orders. "Stay mobile, use the environment, force them to fight on our terms." Jax darted through narrow gaps, drawing enemy fire, while Lena manipulated arena controls to alter gravity fields and activate hidden traps. Dax smashed through barriers, creating new pathways. The Zalthar found themselves chasing ghosts, unable to pin down a target. Their rigid tactics faltered under the humans' relentless unpredictability. Then, as if sensing the tide turning, the Zalthar commander unleashed a brutal counterattack, a volley of energy blasts designed to incapacitate. Mara threw herself forward, shielding a teammate. Pain seared through her side, but she pressed on, refusing to fall. The crowd gasped, seeing the human captain take a hit. Yet the humans rallied, their cohesion unbroken. With a sudden daring maneuver, Jax disabled the Zalthar commander's weapon, forcing the enemy leader into close combat. In a flurry of movement, Mara seized the moment, disarming and pinning the commander. The arena erupted in cheers. The humans had won again, but the victory came at a cost. Mara's injury was severe, forcing her to withdraw from active combat temporarily. Her absence was a blow to the team's morale. Back in the infirmary, Mara lay on a sterile cot, Lena and Jax by her side. "We're not done," Mara said, voice strained but resolute. "They think this will break us, it won't." Outside, whispers spread of the human's unyielding spirit. More alien students approached, offering quiet respect, some even tentative friendship, but the darker forces were still at work. The Bide Council convened in secret, debating drastic measures to curb the humans' influence. Velkreth's voice was grim. Their presence threatens the order of the Academy. We must decide, allow their rise, or enforce the ban with finality. 1. Elder argued, they bring change, yes, but also chaos. The galaxy isn't ready for this. The Council's indecision left a vacuum that dangerous factions sought to fill. One night, as the humans gathered in their quarters, an explosion rocked the building. Smoke and debris filled the hallways. The team scrambled to safety, shaken but unharmed. Jax looked around, eyes blazing. They want to scare us off, but we won't run. Mara's voice cut through the chaos. This is war. Not just in the arena, but out here, against those who fear what we represent. The humans made a silent pact. They would fight not just for victory, but for their very right to exist and be heard. The Academy, once a place of learning and honor, had become a battleground, and humanity was ready to prove that beneath their chaos burned an unbreakable will. The explosion was a clear message. The humans were not just unwelcome, they were a threat. Yet Mara and her team refused to be cowed. If anything, the attack ignited a fierce determination within them. The Academy's grand halls, once filled with polite rivalry and cold judgment, now felt like a war zone where alliances were fragile and trust scarce. In the aftermath, security measures tightened. Patrols increased and investigations launched, but the perpetrators remained hidden in the shadows. Mara paced in the dimly lit training room, her side still bandaged, but her spirit unyielding. We need to find who's behind this, she said, eyes blazing. If they want a fight, we'll give them one, but on our terms. Lena tapped rapidly on her console, hacking deeper into the Academy's network. I'm tracing unauthorized data transfers and encrypted communications. Someone's coordinating from inside. Jax clenched his fists. Enemies in the shadows. Classic. Their suspicions were confirmed when an intercepted message revealed a faction of alien students plotting to sabotage the humans' next match, aiming to force a disqualification or worse. Among the conspirators was Kale, his arrogance now edged with desperation. Losing had wounded his pride, and he was willing to cross lines he once wouldn't dare. Mara knew that to survive they had to outsmart, not just outfight, their enemies. The next match loomed, a face-off against the Tenebrans, a species infamous for stealth tactics and psychological warfare. In the quiet before the storm, Mara called her team together. We can't just win physically, she said. We have to break their will. Show them we're more than fighters. We're survivors. The arena filled with spectators once again. The tension was palpable. Alien whispers warned of a dark battle ahead. As the Tenebrans emerged, cloaked, in near invisibility, the crowd fell silent. The match began with sudden, eerie silence broken by sporadic strikes, blades flashing where no one expected, traps triggering with deadly precision. Mara's team struggled at first, disoriented by the shadows and illusions, but Lena adapted quickly, hacking into the arena's sensors to reveal faint heat signatures. Stay close, Mara ordered. Trust your instincts. They moved as one, a living web of coordinated strikes and countermeasures. Jax's quick reflexes caught an unseen attacker midair, while Dax's brute strength shattered concealed traps. The Tenebrans fought dirty, striking from the darkness, and vanishing before retaliation. Yet the humans pressed on, refusing to yield. Suddenly, a figure darted forward from the crowd, a young alien student unknown to most. With a flick of a wrist, a device hacked into the arena controls, plunging the entire battlefield into darkness. Chaos erupted. Alien spectators gasped. Security scrambled. Mara's team was momentarily blinded, vulnerable. But in the pitch black, their trust was their shield. They communicated silently, moving with practiced grace. Lena's handheld device emitted a soft glow, revealing shadows and outlines. Almost there, she whispered. Jax grabbed the saboteur, who struggled fiercely. Mara stepped forward, voice ringing out. Your games won't stop us. We fight for more than victory, we fight for respect. The saboteur, wide-eyed and trembling, was hauled away by security. The lights flickered back on. The humans had survived the darkness and reclaimed the arena. The crowd erupted, not just in applause, but in newfound respect. But behind the scenes, the conspiracy had only deepened. Kale's faction was growing bolder, more ruthless. They would stop at nothing to preserve their dominance. Mara knew the final battle was coming, not just in the arena, but for the very soul of the academy. As she looked at her team, battered but unbroken, she whispered, "We're not just fighting for ourselves anymore. We're fighting for everyone who's been underestimated, for everyone who's been told they don't belong." The galaxy was watching, and humanity's story was far from over. The final match of the tournament was more than just a contest. It was a reckoning. The entire academy seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see whether the humans would be crushed under the weight of tradition and prejudice, or rise to claim their place among the stars. The arena, larger than ever, was packed. Every alien species present watched with rapt attention. The council sat in somber silence, aware that this match might decide the academy's future. Mara, though still nursing her injury, was at the center of her team's strategy. They had trained relentlessly, knowing this would be their toughest fight yet, against the united front of the alien elites, who had set aside their rivalries to stop the humans once and for all. Their opponents, a coalition of the most feared, warriors from the academy, Ilari, Vrax, Zarkon, and others working in ruthless coordination. The gates opened. The humans stepped forward, faces resolute, hearts steady. The battle began with a storm of coordinated strikes. The alien coalition's tactics were flawless, pushing the humans to their limits. Blades clashed, energy crackled, and the ground shook under the fury of combat. Mara's team moved with the chaotic precision that had come to define them. Fluid, unpredictable, a dance of survival and defiance. Yet the alien coalition was relentless, using every trick in the book to break the human spirit. At the height of the battle, a sudden silence fell. The arena's massive holoscreens flickered, and then switched to a live feed, footage from the sabotage attempts, the attacks, and the secret meetings of the conspirators. The crowd gasped, stunned by the revelation. Velkreth's voice thundered over the speakers. The conspiracy against the human team has been uncovered. These actions violate the Academy's sacred code. The footage showed Kale and his faction conspiring, sabotaging supplies, and attempting to rig matches. Alien students recoiled. In disbelief, Kale stood frozen, his arrogance shattered. The council immediately disqualified Kale and his faction, stripping them of their ranks. The atmosphere shifted from hostility to reckoning. The humans, though battered, stood tall. Their victories had been hard-earned and their integrity unshaken. With the sabotage exposed, the alien coalition's coordinated assault faltered, their morale broken. Mara seized the moment, leading her team in a final surge that overwhelmed their opponents. As the dust settled, the crowd erupted, not just in cheers but in respect. The humans had not only won the tournament but had dismantled the corrupt structures that had kept them banned. Velkreth stepped forward, addressing the assembly. Today, humanity has proven that courage, loyalty, and innovation transcend species and tradition. The ban is lifted. The Academy's doors are open to all, judged by merit, not prejudice. Alien students from every corner of the galaxy approached. The humans, extending hands and words of friendship. Kale's defeat was a lesson, a symbol that arrogance and fear of change could no longer dominate. Mara looked out at the crowd, the weight of their journey settling over her. We came here to fight for respect. We leave having earned it, for ourselves and for those who will come after us. As the sun set over the Academy, the stars above seemed to shine brighter. The human story had begun not with arrogance or defiance, but with a quiet strength, a chaotic, unpredictable spirit that refused to be silenced. And now, That spirit would inspire the galaxy for generations to come.